Welcome to the Rimworld mod rundown. We'll be taking a quick look at what you can expect to see from Vanilla, Weapons Expanded, Makeshift. For starters, you'll need to own the additional workshop content, Vanilla Expanded Framework, and Harmony. If you've been watching these videos chronologically, this is the last video for the Vanilla Weapons Expanded series, and my lord is it an absolute meme. Makeshift adds in 5 new weapons from a very simple research project that could be constructed at the most basic crafting spot, giving you access to weapons that are so hilariously bad they can form the basis of your own challenge run of sorts. Whilst these weapons do come with some pretty major downsides, it isn't all bad. Firstly, all of these weapons only cost components to build and come without a quality modifier, so they'll always be produced at exactly the stats shown in this video. Secondly, they are insanely cheap to use, with a market value anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 as much as a comparable weapon. Now, does this somehow forgive or nullify the downsides to makeshift rifles? Hell no. The downside with makeshift guns is their stunted stats and the unreliable nature of their shot count, with every attack basically adding an extra dice roll into the mix. So now you've got to roll for the number of attacks, roll to hit, the enemies have a saving throw, and finally you roll for damage.
I rolled a one, fuck!
So let's go over the meat of this mod anyway. Everything is unlocked via the Makeshift Weapons Research, which only needs 500 points to unlock. From there you can build a pistol, SMG, shotgun, rifle and LMG at a crafting spot, with the only cost being components and a small amount of time. Like a seriously small amount of time. None of these weapons need more than 100 work to make, they are insanely fast to put together. The makeshift pistol is up first, costing just 2 components. This has the potential to fire either a single shot or not at all. You'll know if the weapon failed to fire if the pawn takes a longer break between shots. The scuffed shot doesn't have an aiming animation, so it plays closer to a colonist clearing a jam rather than a misfire. Comparison wise to the auto pistol counterpart, this has worse damage, worse penetration, 10% worse accuracy across the board, and it shuffles a bit of its aiming time and cooldown around, but it comes out with the overall same shot timings. Don't forget though, this is available for a single 500 point research project, compared to the 5 you're going to need to unlock the auto pistol, which totals to 4,300 research points. However, you're also unlocking all of the other makeshift weapons with that single project, so you're never going to use this. Next is the SMG, which costs a single component more and is going head to head with a machine pistol. This potentially spits out anywhere from 0 to 3 shots per pull of the trigger, with its stats near identical to the machine pistol. The same damage, stopping power, penetration, range. The makeshift actually has better accuracy at short ranges, and they shuffle the aiming and cooldown again. For something that's bordering on non-lethal with its damage profile being accessible so early, it might actually help you grab an additional prisoner here or there. Stacking raiders full of holes and then just running around, it lets them bleed out so that they'll collapse rather than dying to raw damage. The makeshift shotgun. The potential variation in damage on this is wild, with each shell containing between 1 to 5 projectiles. It can either take off an entire limb or slightly adjust the raider's hair as they charge towards you. Side by side with a pump shotgun, this needs to land all 5 projectiles to deal more damage, but it still has equal stopping power, penetration and range. Its accuracy is a little bit worse and it does take more time to aim and reload. The cool thing about the makeshift version, however, is the potential spread on those pellets, with all of them applying 3.0 stopping power to all targets hit, against the pump shotgun's single payload of oof. So yes, this thing deals garbage damage, but it still slows raiders like a kick in the bollocks. Not awful. It's not good either, it's just not awful. Now we've got the rifle, with this thing actually offering the potential to deal more damage than its counterpart. Costing only 4 components compared to the 60 steel and 7 components of an assault rifle, and needing 8 times less work to create, the Makeshift can potentially fire 1 to 5 rounds per burst, with the same damage, stopping power, and armor penetration of a normal rifle. It suffers a little bit in its range, has worse accuracy at a closer range, and a little bit more aiming time. But honestly, for the tech level you can get this, with its minimal investment and the knowledge that it'll come out with this stat line for only 4 components per craft, it's really not that bad. If you wanted to do a run where you only used makeshift weapons and had like a Fallout settlement vibe going for your colony, this will likely be the go-to gun for the majority of your colonists. And finally is the LMG, with its name shortened from the LOL Miss gun. Potentially firing 3 to 12 shots per burst, this does have the potential to churn out double the saturation fire that a normal LMG could. It comes at a cost though. It has lower damage, worse penetration, a little bit lower range, a touch worse accuracy, and a slightly longer ranged cooldown, which is important when it does get lucky and fire a massive burst, as the issue then becomes that its firing time for a 12-shot burst is longer than that ranged cooldown, further increasing the time between this gun getting its next shot off. I mean, of course we already know the only thing that LMGs, HMGs, miniguns and the like are good for in Rimworld is dealing damage to your own killbox or choke point, due to the nature of their shots being forcefully missed. This just adds another layer of unpredictability to this already less than reliable weapon. Stick to the normal makeshift rifle, it'll suit you better. And that is all of it. The entire Vanilla Weapons Expanded series has now been covered, so I can tick that section off the list. Makeshift is such a weird one to end with, because it's almost entirely made for either self-imposed challenge runs or a very thematic colony, which is likely to be played on a sensible difficulty without worrying about min-maxing efficiency. For that kind of approach, this does the job fantastically. I've tried a couple of Fallout inspired runs with a colony of wasters, or ghouls, using scavenger style from alpha memes and trying to rebuild a society of sorts. It's pretty fun, even if your base looks total barf the entire time. It gives you more unpredictability to the weapons you're using rather than just reskinning a standard gun, so gameplay reflects the cobbled together nature of your faction a little bit closer, even if you will curse yourself for doing it when you keep getting the worst rolls possible and raiders are practically waltzing right into your front line without so much as a scratch. Thanks for watching folks. If you have any mods you'd like to see a full breakdown for, or suggestions of mods you'd like to see covered, feel free to leave them in the comments, I might get around to them. I'll be back again soon with another Rimworld mod rundown. Wherever you are in the world, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon or evening. Take care.